Brandon Moreno looks to get back into the title picture with a win in Mexico City. Stay tuned to hear my official prediction for the main event of UFC Mexico City. I'm Wyatt, and this is Fight Society. The UFC is finally giving us a fight night with fans, and they're doing it in a big way with Brandon Moreno versus Brandon Royval in Mexico City. And this is a good fight because both of them are coming off of losses to the current flyweight champ, Alexandre Pantoja. Now, this fight was originally supposed to be Brandon Moreno and Amir Albazi, with Amir Albazi looking to get into the title picture. But with him having what I believe to be a neck injury, he had to pull out of this fight, and Brandon Royval took this fight on about 6 weeks' notice. Huge props to Royval for coming off of a title loss, which always is heartbreaking, even if it was pretty one-sided. That was only in December. So taking a fight on short notice, a 5-round fight, against a former champ that you've lost to by finish on his own turf, and less than 2 months or about 2 months after losing your first title challenge. Huge props to Brandon Royval. They go into this fight having already fought before, with Brandon Moreno winning by first round TKO in their first matchup. Brandon Moreno comes off of a potential fight of the year from 2023 against Alexandre Pantoja, which we saw a back and forth battle that ended up being a split decision win for Pantoja. And I know that the UFC wants Brandon Moreno as the flyweight champ, given that he's really the only big draw that they have at 125 pounds. They definitely want to see Brandon Moreno win this fight and get back to Pantoja, even if he's already lost to him 3 times. Brandon Royval looks to get back into the title picture with a win over Brandon Moreno. So I think that this is most likely a #1 contenders fight at 125 pounds. The UFC, as they usually are, is in a tough spot at 125 pounds with a lack of competition. The division is very shallow, and I actually think that it has the least amount of fighters in the division out of all UFC divisions. With the UFC, honestly, it doesn't feel like they put all that much effort towards 125. They almost got rid of it when Mighty Mouse was the 125-pound champ. So it's just crazy that they had arguably the best mixed martial artist of all time as the champion in this division, and they almost got rid of it anyway. So that shows you what the UFC thinks about the flyweight division for men. And Brandon Moreno is basically the sole hope of keeping the UFC interested in the flyweight division, even if it is some of the most technical and talented matchups that you'll see. I mean, 125 pounds and 135 pounds and 45 pounds, those lower weight classes are always really entertaining to watch because these guys have cardio for days. I hope that they can find a way to make this division intriguing for years to come, because it is thin right now, especially with the former champ Davison Figueiredo moving up to bantamweight. Now, I know that people say MMA math doesn't work. You can't compare 2 fighters' performance against the same guy to each other, but I disagree. I think that there is a lot to take away from matchups that guys have had with the same fighter. Now, Brandon Moreno, even though he's lost to Pantoja 3 times, has had very competitive matchups, especially in that last one. He won on one of the judges' scorecards. Now, Brandon Royval, honestly, it was a very one-sided fight at UFC 296 against Alexandre Pantoja. And so when I look at just that, I lean towards Brandon Moreno. And when I look at the fact that Brandon Moreno has already beaten Brandon Royval by first-round finish, I also lean towards Moreno. So with that said, and the fact that this is on home turf for Brandon Moreno, my official prediction is that Brandon Moreno will win against Brandon Royval again and go straight into a title fight with Alexandre Pantoja later this year. If you like this video and you want more content just like this, click that subscribe button down below. If you want more content from me, go check out my weekly comedy podcast, the Hissyfit podcast, and go check out my personal channel, Wyatt's World. Go watch this suggested video, and I'll see you next time.